what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to build a PC based on R3 3200G. It's an excellent entry-level gaming PC. It's the cheapest way that you can enter PCMR. If you use every new part, I'm not talking about used parts. So let me go to the parts. For the processor, as I told you, I'm using R3 3200G. It's a 4-core 4-threaded chip, clocked at 3.6 GHz base and 4 GHz boost. It's a Zen Plus chip, 12nm, and the graphics inside this is Mega. For the RAM, we are using G.Skill 3000 MHz CL16 kit. It's from Ripjaws. It's an excellent mid to high end level RAM. So for the CPU, I plan to use a dual channel memory because of unavailability. I am not able to get 4x2 sticks, so I am using single stick. This currently works in single channel. The user told he will upgrade to 16 gigs later, so then he might enjoy the sweet performance that he gets from dual channel. For the SSD, we are using Gigabyte SSD. It's a pretty decent SSD for the price. It's around 3000 rupees currently that I bought, and Amazon it's around 3.7k. So this is the SSD that we are going to use. And for the hard disk, we are using an excellent hard disk that I personally recommend. Seagate Barracuda 1TB 7200 RPM hard disk. It's a good hard disk. It performs it performs better than some cheaper SSDs that you can get from Nextron. So you can also use it as a boot drive, but I don't recommend you to use it as a boot drive because I'm using an SSD here anyhow. And for the motherboard that we are going to use is Gigabyte 3020 motherboard. This is an entry level PC, so we have to use an entry level basic motherboard, but it doesn't lack more features except some extra PCI slot that you will get from B450 and overclocking facilities that you get from B450. Apart from that, it's an excellent budget friendly motherboard that you can buy for around 4000 rupees. This is the motherboard that we are going to use, Gigabyte 3020 mAh. It also has an HDMI port and NVMe PCIe M.2 slots, so we can use FreeSync via HDMI. As we told you, it has Mega integrated graphics. So Mega integrated graphics, it has FreeSync. So if your display supports FreeSync, we can use FreeSync on this motherboard. Unlike some MSI motherboard that doesn't feature HDMI, those motherboards feature VGA. VGA can't support FreeSync, and the signal quality is also not desirable. So this motherboard has HDMI, so we can utilize FreeSync, and the signal quality will also be great. And as I told you, NVMe slot. In the future, if the user want to upgrade for Ryzen 5, and if he gets something like NVMe SSD from Kingston or Samsung Evo series, he can easily upgrade it later. And for the case that we are using here is Anti-Sports 100TG. You might have seen this cabinet in my past videos. I will tell more about the cabinet in this. And for some RGB bling, we are using this Antix Superflow RGB fan, 120mm fan. It's a quality fan, it's a quality budget fan. And as I told you, I'm not using a graphics card here. So this fan is more than sufficient to cool this R3 3200G. And the power supply, we are using our trusty old DS450 80+ Voice certified power supply. I personally was using this power supply from past 2 years. I never felt any difficulties using this power supply. I highly recommend this power supply. The cabinet that we are using is Antix 100TG. This cabinet is a fully DeX cabinet that supports fully DeX motherboards, and it has tempered glass head panel and front USB. When it comes to front USB, it has one USB 2.0 and one USB 3.0. That is actual 3.0. It's not fake or something. And the I/O options, the mic and headphone jack are also provided, and power button and a reset button. Power into this SSD. And this is front acrylic, so you don't have to worry about breaking it. But we have to worry about the glass here. It's tempered glass head panel. And this case only comes with one fan that is configured as exhaust currently. It's not RG1, it's a simple lap fan that is configured like that. And it also comes with power supply stored. The power supply stored in this price range, it's hard to get. Even in Corsair Carbide series, at the price of 2600 or 2700, you won't get a cabinet which has power supply stored and which will support these many features. The only drawback of this cabinet is that the front here we can't mount 240 in radiator because this clearance is not so great. So they might improve this in the future, but for now it's good. And we can mount two 120 mm fans here and here, so the airflow will be good. That we are not doing here because it's an APU system. It only requires one fan. I will only configure one fan as an exhaust. And this is the inside of the cabinet, and it supports 2 SSDs and 2 hard disks. So upgrade path is also great. The inside of the cabinet is also great. So the cabinet, I usually prefer preparing the cabinet first, then adding all the parts, because it's lot easy to do, and it's the way that I prefer to do. Because before adding power supply, before connecting all the power cables, before leaving all the power supply for connector, we should not start the build. So let's prepare the cabinet first. Cabinet is done. We have fit the fan and we have fit the power supply. So let's move with the motherboard, the CPU and the motherboard. So we got our setup ready. CPU. This is the CPU and included cooler. So carefully unbox the CPU. Before putting your CPU, just remove these brackets. These are intended for Ryzen 7 and Clipping Shell cooler that you will get in Athlon 3000G processors. Some old AMD style coolers, but we don't need this now. We can remove this. So it's done. Take the CPU out. Put it from the sides. Lift the retention arm. Put your CPU inside. Close it. So after that, take your included breath cell cooler. As thermal paste pre-applied, so we don't have to apply it again. Check the logo. AMD logo should point towards here. Should not be like this. If it's like this, we will not be able to use the first lamp. So it's better we have to mount it like this. Align the holes. Screw it diagonally. Don't over tighten it. Only go up to the level where the spring starts to make sound and the screw won't spin. Don't apply more force. You can even damage the motherboard. Take your air shield. system, it's performing similar to that, and the system is healthy. The temperature of the system was around 72 degrees Celsius both on CPU and DPU, because both on CPU and GPU, because they lie on the same die, and the FPS in games were also smooth, and the frame drops were not so massive. Even though the average frame rate is less, the frame time and frame drops are minimal. So this works. And the next step that I would suggest is to add another 8GB identical stick that I have put inside this system, in order to utilize the dual channel memory configuration of the Ryzen 3 3200G. Basically, for the CPU part, it doesn't affect a lot. For when it comes to the GPU, dual channel memory affects a lot. So at the next upgrade for the user is to add another 8GB stick of the identical RAM to operate the PC in dual channel mode. So another option is also to add a discrete GPU. We can go up to RX 570 and RX 580 in this thing, and we may see some bottlenecks in some scenarios, but for an RX 580 and 570 in NVIDIA side, it's around GTX 1650 or GTX 1660 is the high end. Above that, if CPU is fine, it's equivalent to the Kaby Lake Core i7 7400, which is i5, and this is Ryzen 3 Cortex coincidence. So this PC is working fine and it's healthy. So I've completed a bit. This is Kiran, and you will see me on the internet.